I got you. I don't know. Hey, everybody. Well, there's a lot going on. Big week for us with the big trip going across the country and all, against a team that we've seen play well in 3 games, really, and played really good teams. Lost to New England, lost to Buffalo in a shootout, and then came back and played great last week against Jacksonville. It's a really nice job that Brian's doing with these guys and turning this thing this fast. And you can see them playing sharp and playing well, and they're smart, and it's a good club. So it's a good challenge for us. Again, we have to manage the trip and do a good job with that. It's not unfamiliar to us, but it's always a challenge. We got some guys. There's some questions, about what guys, with injuries and things like that, and who's going to come back. We're going to manage this week, and hopefully the best order to give these guys a chance to bounce and do a nice job recovering. And we're expecting that we'll be okay, but there'll be some question marks for you. It's a big week too in the COVID thing, with the first real challenge in Tennessee translates to Minnesota, and potentially translates to Pittsburgh and all that. There's a lot going on here, and I'm sure the whole league is on alert, as we are too, just trying to prepare and be ready to minimize the impact if something does happen. And we've been talking about it all year, and it just gets real when it happens eventually. So we continue to rock along with our guys all testing negatively and doing a great job. But here we go again. So it's just an ongoing emphasis for us, and we just really can't get away from it, and we don't plan to. We just try to win each day. So it's interesting. So go ahead.
Masvita.
And didn't even mention the debates. Okay, so good.
Hey, Pete, every quarterback in the league presents a unique challenge. What kind of unique challenge does a guy like Patrick, who's been around for a lot of years?
Yeah, Ryan has been around for a lot of years, and it's really something to watch him play right now. He is on it. This is as good as he's ever looked to me, and he looks like he's playing on house money. He's just going for it. All phases, all aspects of his play. He's running well. He's challenging the line of scrimmage. We're trying to make first downs. His helmet got knocked off, a bit ago, and he got up laughing and smiling and all fired up. Making great throws. His receivers are doing a fantastic job. Very gutsy, just true veteran savvy working for him. And it looks like, I don't know if this is what it's like on their end, but it looks like everything kind of revolves around his play. And he knows how to manage the game, and it's really a sight to see. Not many guys this late in their career can function at such a high level, and so we're going to get challenged by him.
Jen?
Coach, you talked about stopping those long plays. I'm wondering, do you coach it differently or talk about it differently this week to try to get different results?
Well, we have to quit making the errors that come from the newness and the guys, not being out there together, and it's been sloppy at times, and the communication has not been, as effective as it needs to be. We're trying, and we're working at it, and the principles are there and all that, but we've had a few breakdowns that, we give a regular routine play access to the end zone, just this is wrong. Getting beat over the top is a different story, but when the plays come across the field and we're in zone and they make touchdowns, that's not supposed to ever happen. So we have to be better, try to recapture the emphasis of keeping the ball in front of us, and with real, with a lot of intent here, and it's really important. We got to get this done. We got to slow guys down.
Joe Fan.
Just continuing off what you just said, is it a bit surprising that those mistakes are happening given the amount of veterans you have in your back seven?
Yeah, but we have been mixing safeties and mixing guys in and out a little bit more than we would like. And we haven't responded as well as we need to be really sharp and clean. And so it's just a challenge for us. Sometimes we look like we haven't been practicing a whole lot on the back end. So we have been. So we just have to do better. And I really can't imagine that we're not going to do this a whole lot better here in the coming weeks.
John Boyle.
Yeah, Pete. Tyler and Russell obviously connected 9 more times I think they're up to 20-some this year. Just as you've coached both those guys over the years, have you seen that connection between them grow to where Russ is so comfortable going, third downs, big plays, things like that?
Yeah, well, they've been doing it for a long time. It's the last 3 years have been great years for those two guys. So this is just an extension of it. I don't know. 3 years ago, I think they had a perfect rating. So how can you do any better than that? So it's just a matter of continuing to work together and find the openings and the spacing, and the magic really happens after the play breaks down. There's the execution downfield on time and on rhythm, and that's one thing. But it's the other stuff that makes Tyler such an extraordinary player and separates him from anybody. And then of course the fact that Russ. I go back. I've said this before, I think, to you guys, that they're both such extraordinary natural athletes. They respond to situations similarly. And Tyler can do anything, play anything, shoot the hoops. He can do anything. And Russ is the same way. And all of that athleticism and natural sense and all that, it just seems to work together. And they see things the same often. And so they respond together often. And so it's just it's a magic that's really special and fun to see.
Corbin.
Hey, Pete, I know you couldn't answer this after the game because you hadn't seen the film yet, but I was curious what your overall impression was of Allen Robinson's debut as a run defender, rushing the passer, etc.
Yeah, he had a good day. He played really hard. He wasn't hesitant at all. He worked the edge well. In the run game, chase off the backside was good. His effort downfield, getting in on some hits, the big pressure that he had in the sack. He did really, really well. We're really excited that he showed up in his first real opportunity.
Bob Condota.
Yeah, Pete, you mentioned the plays we got beat over the top. Is there a specific teaching emphasis on those, or just guys got to win
Yes.
one-on-one battles there?
Yes. I mean, I don't know how many times I can answer the question. Yes, there is. We're working on it really hard. It's a terrible part of your game when you can't stop the deep ball. So we're on it.
And Jamal Adams, specific on injuries, any update on him and his availability this week at all? Or?
Yeah, he's pretty sore. Just talked to him a little while ago. He's pretty sore right now, and we just keep going day to day and see what happens. He's massive treatments to try to accelerate the return and all that. He's doing like some of our guys do. I wouldn't put anything past him that he couldn't pull off. So at this point, he's working really hard at it, and we'll see what happens. We don't know enough to tell you about the weekend at this time.
Curtis.
Yeah, Pete, how have Carson, Postic, and Damian kind of bounced back?
All three of those guys were at the walkthrough today. They're all out there and participated in the full walkthrough. Chris is really sounding positive. Damian looked pretty good, and Postic was all right. So might get a real good turn from those three guys.
Tim.
I guess I'll add to the injury questions. What's the latest with Jordan Brooks?
He's limping a little bit today. He's pretty sore. It's going to be a real challenge for him to make it back as stiff as he is right now. So he got whacked pretty good, and so we'll have to wait and see, though.
And then you mentioned the Tennessee situation. What is your message, or do you even need to give a message to your team after they see what's going on?
No, we went all over it again. Gave them a COVID update so that they would know what happened and took place. Didn't talk specifically about what happened there, but the fact that it did happen. And then it takes one person, one person outside of the bubble can affect all of this. And so it's just a reminder. We need these reminders. We can't open up the restaurants and stuff. We can't do that. We got to stay with it and just stay after it and be diligent. And so the messaging from the top and the demonstration of the manner and how we operate from all of our coaches and the people that lead the guys and leadership on the team, everybody has to be participating. This is an ongoing, full-on onslaught for the next, 13, 14 weeks, whatever the heck it is. It's months of this. We have to do it. So, but we can't fall prey to human nature, and take these way out. We can't do that. We can't do that. We have to be stronger about it and more diligent and just not let up. So it's a relentless pursuit we're in to try to maintain the edge and hold on to it as long as we can.
Jackie.
Hi, Coach. Just curious what you see from Miami's run game and Miles Gaskin.
Miles is playing really good. He's pushed himself right to the front. He's the lead ball carrier. He's got twice as many carries as the next guy because the way he plays. He's their leading receiver, at about 15, 16 catches, something like that. He's playing really good football. He's tough, creative with the ball in his hands, makes special plays. And you can see why they've done a great job to just let the best guy out there go, and that fits their offense and their style, and he's that right now. So it's kind of fun that he's a UW guy and all that. So see if we can get him on the ground.
Greg?
Pete, you're going into details again about renewing the call about COVID protocols and safety. How much for your coaching staff has this been a balancing act between coaching, getting ready for games, and yet still having to maintain this part of it? Has it been difficult?
Well, really, Greg, my mind has been on this for so long. I mean, for so many months, well before we ever got back here, that this just seems like a continuation of the new. This is the way we operate, and this is the way we function. I think it'll be more of a reaction when it's over, if it is, someday down the road here, and we take a different turn. I mean, just been so actively involved with every aspect of everything we can think of, for so long that it's just part of it. It doesn't seem like it's detracted from our work. We found spaces between the spaces to figure it out and all of that, and so I'm not griping about it. I mean, if I'm complaining about it, I'm kicking my lip around about how these guys are going to be. So I've just been on the whole time and plan to be on until it's over, and you're going to have to shake me, because we're tuned in, and it's the only way I think we can be. This is really. The messaging just has to be so consistent and so strong and just, like I said, relentless.
Are you holding your breath, or is it beyond that? It's up to the guys, and they have to do what they have to do?
No. Yeah. There's a, every day. I mean, every night I get it. Now it's coming in at about 12:30. At night when we get the word that what the past day just showed testing wise, it used to be about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I haven't missed one yet. So it's a day-to-day haul, and I'm not even complaining about it. This is just what it is, and so we're going to have a great attitude about it. I think attitude is a huge percentage of this, and that's why leadership is so important, and direction and system is so important. I mean, this is take a sidebar for a second. Think if the whole country could have approached it like the NBA and Major League Baseball and football. I don't know how everybody else would approach it, but if you had approached it like this, we'd be in a much different state. Look, there's just been a handful of occurrences through the thousands and thousands and thousands of tests that have taken place. So there's a way to handle this. It ain't fun. It ain't it's not what you want, but you can do it, and it just takes a real diligent mentality to get it done.
Art?
Pete, as you mentioned the debates, last night President Trump declined to renounce white supremacy, and things are inflamed anew. Have you thought about, or have you addressed the team yet, or will you address the team about this?
No, we're not addressing about particular issues from any of the political guys. We're not doing that. I mean, guys have to be able to think for themselves, and I don't want to be in any way shading their mentality in any direction. But we made reference to the debate. We showed them, for the guys that maybe didn't catch it last night, just kind of what it looked like, so they would have a sense for the whatever that was, and so I want our guys always to know what's going on and always to be up on what's happening as best we can, in whatever depth we can handle, and so we did address it, that it took place, and maybe there'll be more discourse. There has been some of the guys have talked about it some, in some of the instances and the things that took place and that were said and all that, but we didn't address any of the specific issues. Sure.
Brady?
Hi, Pete. There's a lot of numbers that show how much success Russell has had over his career on deep balls, and he's obviously having the same success this year. What's been your view of that, both over his career and this season?
My view's been from over here on the side, looking at it do this and watching it freaking fly and go right to guys. He's amazing. There's something. One of the the real aspects of the game that has always captured America and captured the fans is that ball flying so far in the air and it comes down to some guy flying down the sidelines and makes a play on it. Russell is just a master at it, and I don't think he's any better at it than he used to be. He's always been great at it. This has just been a stat for him that he's owned for years. Great awareness and sense and spatial, savvy and all of that to create it, and then obviously the great physicals that has made it's a spectacle when he plays, so I've had as much fun watching as you guys, and I hope there's a bunch more.
And the role that the pass protection has played in that this year?
Yeah, the pass protection has been better. We really have protected better. Russ has got his base in underneath him, best he's had probably as I can remember. There's a couple runs when we were really on it. I don't know if it was 2015 or something like that when he was just killing it, he and Doug. When the protection really matched the opportunities, and he was killing it then, and had a remarkable run. This is a great start for us. So we have a long ways to go to get better, and to coordinate all of the things that it takes to make sure that it functions for him. But we're off to a really good start. And what I've been pleased that some backup guys have had the chance to get in, and it hasn't changed. So Mike and BC are doing a great job with these guys, and they're making sure that they're where they need to be, and with conviction and power and strength and all the things, and then we're going to get better. I think we're going to continue to improve.
Thank you.
Curtis?
Yeah, Pete, I know you brought Demarius Randall onto the practice squad today. What can a 5-year vet like him, what would you like about him and bringing him into the process right now? And has Leno bounced back from his back issue from Sunday as well?
Leno has not fully bounced back, but he's looking towards playing this week. We'll see if he can make it through the week. Demarius is a guy we saw, through the process at Arizona State back in the draft times evaluations. We thought he was a really, really good athlete and all-around ball player, and had great speed. And he's had a solid playing career. The film that you watch of him is really strong, and makes a lot of plays and covers a lot of ground, makes a lot of tackles, and again he runs 4.3 something, so he has a great range back there. So for us to be able to pick him up under these circumstances, with guys being banged up and when there's some uncertainty here, that's a great job by John to figure that out and how to get him here and all that. So he looked good in workouts, and we'll see what happens as our needs present themselves this weekend.
Tim?
Yeah, one more injury thing, Pete. What's the latest with Clinton and his knee?
I just talked to Q. He's holding on to a good thought that he can get back this week, and we'll see what happens. He's improving and all of that. We won't know. He's not going to do anything today for the next couple of days. We'll just wait all the way till the weekend to see where he is, and so we'll be ready to play without him. But we're also looking forward to seeing if he can make it.
Michael Sean?
Another injured one. How's Nico doing?
Nico's trying to play this week. He's going to try to go for it. We'll see how he's doing. We got to buy as much time as possible with the groin thing, and so we'll see how he goes.
Greg?
Do you see Randall as a safety or a corner?
Safety. Yeah, he's played corner in his past, and he always felt like he was a safety, and felt like he's been at his best in his history. I mean, I see it that way too, watching the film and all that. He was so fast that everybody wanted to try him at corner. That was the thought. But he's most at home playing on the back end.
Bob?
Pete, you mentioned the pass protection. I was curious, Ethan Posick, what's the biggest thing you've seen out of him in these 3 games? Obviously, going back to center, I know you said in the past that center maybe was kind of the position you felt he was most comfortable with, maybe from out of college.
Yes, yeah. Remember how versatile he was, because he started at all 3 positions in college, but he played the most of his time there and looked the best there. He's been really consistent. I mean, I'm thinking, he's made his calls, he's held up his end of it. He's been solid in the running game. Communication has been good. He's really off to a really good start, and I'm really fired up for him and for us. That was a big draft pick a while ago, and for him to come through now and start, as a starter and playing well, it's a really good thing for us. I'm really happy for him too.
Last question, Joe Fan.
Pete, what's holding Trey back? Is it maybe the mental side of things? It feels like there's times where he's in great position, but maybe doesn't trust his technique when the ball arrives.
No, I think he's just battling. He's getting some hard attempts, and he'll come through. He's been around the ball a lot. Unfortunately, a crazy play that he falls to go catch the ball and it bounces off his shoulder pad and it goes up and they catch it. That's kind of a lousy situation. But he's a tough competitor and he's battling and he's ready to go. So, I think not knowing whether he was playing is that always is harder on a guy. He's been a starter for a couple of years, and we let Quentin get a couple of starts to show us what he can do, and that doesn't always help you play better. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But now that he's back in battling, I think he's going to turn a good corner here and play really sharp. No pun on the turn the corner thing. Nobody got it anyway. Art, just you and me. We're the only ones.
They're all muted.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Bobby Wagner's up.
John Boyle, would you like to start us off?
Would love to. Bobby, you were obviously not happy after the game with how the defense played. When you go back and sort of review the film and how you guys were playing, obviously there's a lot of talent on that side of the ball. What do you think needs to change to get it going?
We just got to lock in on little details, lock in on the, some of the plays towards the end of the game. We get up and, we're up by 15 points or whatever, and obviously the situation changes and teams are going to have to throw the ball to kind of get back into the game. And so we just have to do a better job of recognizing those situations and playing them better. Jackie?
You're good. Just curious what you see from this from their offense, specifically in their run game.
I think they have a really good run game. Definitely feel like they use their tight ends in different ways. They use their receivers a little bit more than most teams do, as far as kind of putting them into the box and bringing around on counter plays and things of that nature. So it's a unique running style. Something I think if you just come downhill and play fast, you'll be able to knock it out. So it'd be a challenge, but we've been doing really well in the run, and I think that'll continue.
And then looking at this defense, what have you seen from some of the younger guys? What do you see from Alton Robinson and then also LJ in these first few games?
Just their growth, especially LJ. I've seen LJ grow a lot from last year to this year. Understand there was a lot, on his plate last year, and there was a lot of speculation and things of that nature. So for him to kind of go into the offseason, prepare the way he did, come back and really just do a good job and continue to grow and ignore the noise has been pretty impressive. And, Alton's growing as well. You saw him get in the game, get an opportunity, get a sack, and we're just looking for those guys to keep getting better every week, which I'm confident they will.
Art Teal.
Bobby, Pete just told us that you guys saw some video of the debates last night, and I wanted to get your take on the inflammatory stuff. And also whether players have talked, if you've talked among yourselves about any kind of response on game day.
A response to the debate?
Or the word said, yeah. Or any other things.
Well, they did, the words wasn't really directed at us and specifically football players, in my opinion. But as far as the debate, it was tough to watch. Just seemed like two grown men arguing the whole time. And you had Trump doing what he does. At this point, you know who he is. It's not no hiding it. He's not hiding it. He's telling you exactly who he is. And if that's somebody that you care to support, then it's unfortunate. But he's shown us who he is. And so, getting up there watching the debate, I wasn't really looking to see or be surprised by anything. He's shown us who he is for 4 years, and it is what it is. I don't care about him or anything that he thinks. So he has no play in my life.
Michael Sean.
Hey, Bobby. Pete says you guys had Ed Goins in not too long ago, talking to you guys about voting and specifically how important it is to localize those efforts, like no one who's running for the things locally that you agree with. Not you, like guys of the team. Over the years, have you lived in Seattle? Have that something that you've emphasized or learned more about? It's like the importance of the local elections, maybe here or even back home in LA.
I think it's something that, over the years I've gotten, more knowledge on. I think his job he came in and talked to us really about like the kind of law side and, how, what certain laws kind of people use to hide behind and things of that nature, and how sometimes verdicts are turned the way they are based on some of the bills or things that they have in place. So it really opens your eyes and lets you know that you need to. It's more than just, voting specifically on the president. It's voting on the people that you have in your states and your cities, and really just being more aware and conscious of some of the bills that they put on the ballot, some of the laws that they try to place, and understand how that's going to affect you and the people around you.
Has there been any law or bill or anything that's been illuminating to you? Like, wow, I didn't know that they were doing this to hide this, so to speak.
Not anything specifically. I think there's a lot of laws that they hide behind, so it's hard to pick one.
Fair enough. Thanks.
Bob Condotta.
Yeah, Bobby, you mentioned the run defense. Obviously, statistically, it's a lot better. What has been sort of the key to that, having that be a lot better this year than it was last year?
I think it's our fronts that we're playing. We're kind of switching up the fronts a little bit. I think, everybody's playing real sound, coming down, making the plays that we need to make. And then I think, too, when the offense is scoring the way that they're scoring, it puts other offenses in a position where they have to keep up, and running the ball is not going to do that.
And then one other, just obviously in the back end, you've had some injuries and guys in and out and stuff like that. Has that made it challenging with the communication and all that kind of stuff? Or?
I don't think it made it challenging, because I think, you always, as the signal caller, you're constantly communicating. I think it's just, like over the years, you create certain nonverbal communications, or you get used to working with a certain person, and you guys might play a certain play one way, and then somebody comes in and you have to either explain how you guys are playing that play or adjust. And so sometimes that happens in the game, and you're trying to adjust on the fly, and we can the whole thing, just as far as the pass game, we just got to do better.
Brady.
Hey, what's up, Bobby?
What's up?
What was your view of the way Shaquem played late in that game Sunday?
I think he played great. He came in. I love his mentality. I love his mindset. Anybody in his situation could have easily gotten mad or frustrated about what happened, but he came in prepared. Was preparing all week, and the moment he got his opportunity, he came in and made some really, really good plays. Whether it was on Zeke, whether it was breaking up the ball over the middle, and just being really, really active. And so I was really impressed with the way he handled everything, and his preparation on coming in and being ready.
Corbin.
Hey, Bobby. Coach Carroll was saying this is the best that he's seen Ryan Fitzpatrick play. It seems like he's like fine wine. The older he gets, each additional team he plays for, he plays better. But he's really been playing well the last couple weeks. What challenges does he present, given he's such a fierce competitor out there and the experience that he has?
I think one is the experience. I think there's not too many coverages or things that he hasn't seen, whether it's blitzing, whether it's the coverages, like I said. So that's definitely, you have to understand you're playing a veteran guy. And then, watching the game, if you watch the game, his energy really ignites that team. So whenever he gets a good throw or makes a big play, whether he, runs the ball or anything like that, it really ignites that whole offense. And so that's another aspect that you want to try to slow down. The moment he starts screaming into the camera, something's going right for him.
Jen.
This will be the first week that you have fans in attendance at a game. I can't believe that we're asking about this, but is that any sort of distraction, or does that create what you think would be an unusual environment in this year?
Not really, because it's not our fans. So I mean, they're not going to be cheering for us. So it won't be anything.
When you're on the field, though.
Maybe. It depends on what the fans is. We don't know how they are or what it's going to be like. It's not going to be at full capacity, so it could sound exactly how the fake noise sound when we at the, our stadium or other empty stadiums. So we've played in big crowds before. We played in many arenas before, so I think we'll be fine.
Masvida?
Hey, Bobby, how you doing?
Doing good.
Hey, you addressed this a little bit with Shaquille, but I was wondering if you could just overall, it seems like guys have stepped up on both sides of the ball for you guys this season. There's been injuries, but the commitment and preparation for all kinds of players to step up. I wonder if you could just address that.
Yeah, I just think, we always preach a next man up mentality, but I think really, too, I think we have a great group of guys that understand that, to stay in this league, you got to be a true professional. And I think guys have really taken that really serious. And you can see, when they get the opportunity, they come in, they're ready to play. It's not, they don't know the players or don't know what to do. They come in, they're ready to play. And I think that just speaks not only for the environment here, but the guys' willingness to kind of buy in and understand, especially in this crazy time, with the injuries being the way that they are, that your opportunity can come at any given moment, and you have to be ready, and you have to be ready to perform. And, I think guys are really taking that seriously, and, it's shown on the field.
Is that something you and Russell have talked about as leaders, in the last few years to create that culture, or it's just organic?
I definitely feel like it's something that we talk about for sure, because you have to, obviously as guys come in, they have this vision and the belief that they're going to come in and play and start right away, and it doesn't happen that way. And so you have to give a little bit of encouragement and let them know, like, Russell didn't start until he proved it in the preseason game, that third preseason game. I was splitting reps up until about game 5 or 6 my rookie year. So sometimes it's part of the process. Sometimes you get thrown into the game. And so a lot of it is just, the older guys kind of giving their experience and the situations that they have. Because a lot of people, by now, year 9, don't remember that I didn't play base and nickel when I first got here. So I think it's just them hearing those stories as well as the organicness that you talked about and us just saying be ready. I think that's kind of a combination of everything.
Last one for Bobby, Aaron Levine.
Hey, Bobby. You guys have won 9 straight games at 10 a.m. Pacific. How does it really go from such a bugaboo for this organization for some 30-some-odd years and kind of a hindrance, and the record hadn't been that great, to the success you guys have had over the last 2.5 years at that time?
I think it's a mindset thing. I think it's, sometimes you can play into those stats, those thoughts that people have that you don't play well, and you can change that with your mentality. And so I think it's just, preparing better, understanding that you got to get up earlier than you normally get up. And at the end of the day, it's still a football game. So as long as you get up and you're ready to play, we're good. So I think we do a good job of making sure everybody's up, got that energy going, and, ready to play. So I think that's kind of why, we've been able to do it. We got a good group of guys that buy in and always believe that we can win no matter what.
Thanks, Bobby.
Appreciate it, guys. Stay safe.
Shell, Jackie, Montgomery, you have one?
Brandon, I have a couple for you actually. Just curious, what did you think of Jordan Simmons' play when he came in for D-Lou this last game?
I thought Jordan came in, he stepped up, he played well, and we be in practice, we communicate a lot, so it wasn't a drop off for communication level for him coming in, so it went pretty well.
And then Russell, he just earned NFC Offensive Player of the Week, second time in 3 weeks. Just now that you had some time with him, what impresses you the most about Russ?
I mean, he's just a great player, I mean, he's just amazing. He makes plays with his arm, makes plays with his legs. He's just an amazing player.
Thank you.
Jen Mueller.
Brandon, what do you appreciate most about being part of this offense?
I just appreciate being with a group of guys like this, down from the quarterback, from Russ to the offensive linemen to the running backs and receivers. It's a pretty fun group to be around, and that's what I enjoy the most.
Curtis Crabtree.
Yeah, Brandon, when you look at the success your offense has had so far this year, is it just the fact that Russell's kind of nuts and crazy and as good as he is? Well, what's it kind of been like to see that and be a part of it and know what you guys have been capable of doing these first 3 weeks?
I mean, it's been a huge building block, I would say, and the guys, it's a team effort. It's all 11 guys, so, when all the 11 guys are clicking, we have good things happen, and I think that this is just the beginning because we still have things to work on as well, so we just got to keep building on this.
And are you surprised at all how cohesive and put together the offensive line has seemed through 3 games, given the off season and not getting together till training camp and all that you come out of the gates as strong as you have?
I mean, it's hard not having that OTA time and that off season time, but I think that we're still gelling together, we're still working together, and every week is just a building block for us.
Greg Bell.
Hi, Brandon. Your Zoom call with the kids yesterday, what made you want to do that, and what did you get out of that?
Just that Zoom call, because I know it's a lot of kids that struggle with the stuttering, and I just know that being like a guy that I am and using my platform to actually let them know that, it's okay if you have that problem. You can get through it, and it's not going to stop you or it's not going to define you for what you want to be in life.
What was your favorite part of that, or was there a particular moment that you'll remember from the
Just actually talking with the kids and just actually them asking me questions about how I got through it and how, like, the things that I do to get by it and things like that. Just seeing those kids like actually listening, locked in, and like just talking and asking questions, and seeing them taking the knowledge and just running with it was great for me.
How did you get through it?
I just, with my friends and family, close friends, just people knowing that I had a problem, and like just sticking close to them, and just like for them understanding me and them helping me through it, and like me having that, building that self-confidence to not really like care what people think, and just being myself.
Thank you. Congrats.
Thank you.
Ben.
Hey, Brandon. The Seahawks have in the past have had their struggles with pass protection up front. Being the new guy that's come in, coming in with fresh eyes, what do you think has made you guys so good, from the jump? And then also, what role do you think Ethan Posick has had, where you have on one side of the line is, veteran guys that have, been with the Seahawks, and then on the other side you have you and D-Lou who are new, and just his role in, helping the pass pro?
I think Ethan's a very smart guy. He puts us in the right position to pick up the blitzes. He puts us in the right protection calls. I think it's just us kind of gelling together, and him putting us in the right spot so we can just go out there and just do our job with less thinking.
Thank you.
Bob Condota.
Yeah, Brandon, what sort of drew you to Seattle in the first place anyway in March when you signed? I assume you had some other offers. What was it about the Seahawks that you liked?
The whole team camaraderie thing, it's like it's great being part of a team that likes to have fun, but when it's time to get to work, it's time to work, and I think that's what they have a pretty good feel of that over here.
And how, did the Jets make any effort to bring you back, or was that just sort of done and complete once last season ended for you? Or?
Yeah, I pretty much thought it was done and complete. From I guess.
John Boyle.
Yeah, Brandon, we talk a lot about Russell Wilson throwing the deep ball and the weapons he has, but those plays take time to develop. As a lineman, what's your mentality when you know, okay, we got to give him the time to throw a deep ball? And I'm thinking like that last touchdown where you're one-on-one with Dalton Smith for quite a while trying to hold him off. What are those situations like for you?
Well, I know Coach Carroll and the Seahawks, they have a saying, and it's just do right longer. And like that's what you got to go in the mentality to do right longer. You got to give Russ whatever he needs, how much time he needs. You just got to keep going.
What was that battle like with Alden? I know he had a really big game, but that play in particular, he's coming at you over and over.
I mean, Alden Smith, man, he's been a great pass rusher. When he got in the league, he took a couple years off for his problems, but he's still a great player, still a great pass rusher.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shaquem here. John Boyle, do you have a question for Shaquem?
Sure, I'd love to. Hey, Bobby. Bobby was just
Yep, you went on mute, John.
Sorry, Bobby was saying he's proud of the way you kind of could have got down in the dumps a little bit, getting put on the practice squad and all that, but to stay prepared, stay ready, and then take advantage of your opportunities. Kind of what went into that whole process for you?
For me, it was just all the mindset. Once you go through something like that, you have a choice to make, and I think for me is I didn't want to make the choice to settle myself short. I knew the plays, I know what's going on, I know the scheme, so the whole thing was just make sure I stay abreast on it and make sure that I stay ready just in case something was to happen. I didn't know the exact role was going to happen come to the game, but I just wanted to be ready for everything. I was studying each and every position that I was involved in to make sure I knew what was going on. I knew what plays was happening. So once I got opportunity, it was like I shouldn't second guess myself. It's just go out there, run fast, make plays.
Bob Condotta.
Yeah, Shaquem, were you surprised when you were waived at all, and sort of what was your immediate reaction when that happened on that day?
Yeah, definitely a surprise. For me, I was coming in to do the COVID testing, and then I ended up getting called, and I'm like thinking it was just a normal day, and then ended up being waived. I was like, okay, that was an adjustment. So I think a big thing for me was having my brother there was pretty big. I can admit to that. We sat down, we talked for so long. Just about ups and downs, pros and cons to what was going on in the situation. I think for me is my brother kind of calmed me down to the point where it's like I can't always trying to understand the situation and understand the why, but just understand it's a reason. I think that was a kind of a big thing that kind of stuck with me because it was like I can't control everything. I can't sit here and try to control something that's out of my control. So the only thing I can do is just be where my feet at. And that was just at the moment I got waived. And at the next time it was like either I'm gonna be on practice squad or be somewhere else. So whatever step came, I was ready to attack that. When I was on practice squad, it was like, okay, what do we do here? Either we sit on the side and mope and be mad and be upset at somebody who doesn't really always have the choice. The choice comes from the head man all the way down. So it's like it's a choice between everybody. So I can't just blame one person or point the finger. It was more of I just got to understand my situation and fight up out of it. And that was the whole mindset is don't let it allow myself to fold, but just keep pushing.
Joe Fan.
Shaquem, did other teams reach out to you once you cleared waivers, and then did you give any thought to potentially, getting a fresh start somewhere else?
Yeah, some teams did reach out, but I just didn't see myself leaving. I didn't see myself going somewhere else and starting over because just because I leave doesn't mean it's going to be a better situation for me. And I just feel like, being here is worst come to worst, I always got my brother. At the end of the day, when I got him, everything is always good, no matter if I'm playing ball or not. So I was like, man, I'm not just going to leave and run away because I feel like, the situation got hard and the situation is not going my way. It's like, if I want the situation to go my way, what can I change? What can I adjust? What do I need to do to better myself? And it was like, stay in your playbook. Stay on top of everything. Know so much that you move faster than ever. And I think doing so, it kind of put me ahead because it's like now that I know what's going on, it's no reason why I couldn't move fast. If I'm moving fast, not knowing where I'm going, imagine if I did know. So now it's just full go, full blast, 100% effort. Take your shot when you get it, and take full advantage of opportunities.
If you feel comfortable, do you mind sharing who called you that day?
Who called me?
What teams pursued you?
Well, my agent handled all that. It was 3 different teams. He only told me about one. But I just told him I didn't really want to know because I told him from the get-go I wasn't going nowhere. But I know one team that did pop up was Houston that he discussed, but I turned all that down. I was like, you know what, my best decision is to be with my brother, stay here, and fight this thing out.
Michael Sean.
Hey, Shaquem, it looks like that weekend after camp ended, you guys went away for a weekend. Looks like you had some homies. I think Tony was up here. Where'd you guys go? And did that help kind of take your mind off of everything that weekend?
Yeah, it did. I mean, we was about 2 to 3 hours out. Went to like a little lake house, and it kind of gave me a chance to kind of just cope with everything. Everything was moving so fast. I never got a chance to really sit down and really think about what was going on, what's happening. I think me being able to get away and being able to really clear my head and really understand what was going on, because it's like I was being naive too. I was like, this can't be right. Something's got to be wrong. And it's just like sometimes you just got to, accept what's going on and just face the music. And I think after that, it kind of calmed me down to a point where it's like, you know what? Everything can't be perfect. Everything can't always go your way. So once I was able to understand that, it was like, you know what? it's not my first time. So it's like I had to remember and bring myself back. I take a step back and be like, you know what, it's not my first time. It happened in high school. It happened in college. It's happening now. It's like, it's not like I don't know what to do. So it's like, once I look at it in that perspective, it's like, you know what, let's get rid of all the moping. Let's get all rid of the whining and stuff and just come back to work. That's what you do. Workers work, and they don't care who does it. It just has to be done. So that's what I came to do.
Yeah, speaking of college and George and dealing with all that, that was bad. How much of that prepared you for the highs and lows of your NFL career thus far?
Oh man, it was nothing. It's nothing. I think going through college and going through that time and, you know, that tough series on first 3 years, it was definitely a testimony to me. It was definitely a testimony to my faith and, you know, how I feel about overcoming adversity. And I feel like even going through adversity in the league is nothing compared to what I went through in college. So it's like, I'm ready for anything. It's no reason to mope. There's no reason to be upset. You know, I'm in control of my own destiny. I'm in control of the way I feel about things, negative or positive. You know, if a negative situation, it's up to you to turn it into a positive. It's just how you do it.
Greg Bell.
Shaquem, I saw you in binoculars in the sideline. Had a helmet on for about 3.5 hours, it seems like, before you got in the game. How difficult was that? And then to finally just have to turn it on with the game on the line like that?
I was excited, man. My brother, as soon as I got in, my brother was like, all right, make it happen. I'm like, I got you. I mean, I'm excited. I wanted to be out there. So, you know, I wasn't nervous. I didn't make the situation bigger than what it was. It was just, I got my spot, I got my job, handle your job, and trust your team to handle theirs. And when you got great guys on the team like that, you don't have to worry about nothing. I didn't have to worry about anything extra but my job. So I came out there, they pointed one direction, they say, handle that, and I said, I got you. And I just went to work.
And how different was that quarterback spy role you had for the last half of that drive, put you in position to make some play? Had you ever done that before?
Yes, I did it in college.
Okay.
Yeah, it was easy. it wasn't hard at all.
Is that actually easier in some ways?
I mean,
one job?
in a sense, because you don't have to worry about so many other things. In the spy, you worry about certain things that's right in front of you. You don't have to worry about the back end. You don't have to worry about what's going behind you. Everything is in front of you. You attack at it. So it's simple. You don't have to look too much. You don't have to see too much. It's just when you see something's going on, you see where the ball going, you go to the ball.
And last one, Curtis.
Yeah, Shaquem, we saw you have the success with the pass rush last year, but to get a couple pass breakups out of that role, tracking Zeke and tracking Wilson across the field in those late game situations, how nice was that for you just to show the versatility there on the field?
I mean, it's feel good. I felt in my comfort zone again to be able to kind of move around because that's what I did at UCF. I rushed. I came back when it was time to spy and, you know, help out on the back and these swing routes. Because nowadays you got a lot of teams doing a lot of swing routes and the backs is just mismatched with the linebacker, just outrun them to the first down or just screens. You know, there's always be a mismatch with the back and with the backer and linebacker. So for me, it was just more of see your guy, see him run, and you take off as fast as possible and you get there as soon as possible, and which is easy for me. I mean, I love running, so you give me a chance to do so, I got you.
Thanks, Shaquem.
No problem. Thank you for having me.